Hello, welcome to this channel. I am so excited to be here and I hope that you are excited. On this channel, our concern has always been computer codes, writing codes and making applications, computer applications. We are currently in the introductory phase, and through the series of lectures, we have been dealing with HTML. At the last video, we looked at HTML colors. We have gone through HTML RGB system, RGB color values, the HSL color values, and we also looked at the color names, using the color names. On this very video, we are going to be dealing with HTML CSS. CSS means cascading style sheet. So we are able to apply styles to our web pages. And without delay, let's step right into the text editor and explore the world of HTML CSS. CSS means cascading style sheet. CSS saves a lot of work. It can control the layout of multiple web pages all at once. So with CSS, we can apply styles. We already have begun to do some styling on our pages already. So we can apply styles, we can apply colors to our web pages. So therefore, there are three ways we can have CSS added to HTML documents. Three ways. We can have it inline, and by the inline method, I mean using the style attributes, which we have already begun to practice. But we can revisit it again for the sake of the topic CSS. We have the internal system. That's the internal way of including CSS to our page. And in this case, we are going to be putting the style element in the head section. We have the external method of adding styles or CSS to our web page. And this is very important. The external method is the most important, or the best method, I would say. Now, inline CSS is used to apply a unique style to a single element. So when you want to style a single element, we're going to use the inline CSS. And inline CSS also uses the style attributes of an HTML element. Let's go ahead now in our text editor. As you can see, it's just empty. I have emptied all that's in the body. Now I'm going to include an H1 element, and we want to say this. So we're going to say this is my first header. And now we're going to see how we use the inline system. We've practiced this before at our previous videos. So we have the style attribute here. And if we want to give this a color, so you can see that we will just simply say color. And what color are we going to use? Let's say red. Once this happens, this is an element that has been styled red. And once we go to the browser, we'll find it is styled as red. So each time you apply the style attributes and you put the style attribute at the start tag, that system of styling the element is called the inline CSS. Let us also use the inline system on one more HTML element, and let's say the paragraph tag. And we can say this is a blue paragraph. So we're going to use the inline system here to style this paragraph. So we know that we will always include the style attribute, and to give it a color of blue, we use the value color. That's the property color, and we're going to set it to be blue. Now, taking a look at the previous class where we used the RGB system, the RGB color values, we can simply decide to use an RGB color value. And we know that the first value is usually the red value. And because we want to make this to be blue, I'm going to set it to 0. The second value is green. I'm going to set it to 0. And the third one is blue. Let's give that the maximum color for blue. So we have used the inline CSS to make this text blue in color. And as we go over to the browser, we will find that the paragraph is blue in color. The internal CSS. And with this, we are going to be adding the style at the head section, we are going to use a style element. Let's go ahead and see that. So what I'm going to do now is in the head section right here, I'm going to type in style there. To set the attribute for any element, we need to select that element. And so if I have the paragraph tag selected, that is going to style every paragraph on that page, because it is by that letter there, that character, selecting all the paragraphs. And then we have the declaration block where we are going to declare the styles. So this is the selector P, and then we have the declaration block. And within the declaration block, we are going to state the colors or the style we want to apply. So to the paragraph tag, I'm going to say I'm adding a color of, let's call this color brown. And now what this should do is that it should make the paragraphs brown, all the paragraph within that page. But let's see what happens. I'm going to add a couple of other paragraphs, and you're going to understand. I just want to buttress something here. So we have this paragraph, and I'm going to use the text filler. I'm just going to type lorem, and with the help of emit, it's going to add all of the text. So we have lorem, and let's put this within the view. Let's quickly format this. I am going to add more of this text. So I'm just going to copy this and I'll quickly paste that. So now we got a little bit longer text. Let's add some of the paragraph here. And by doing this, we've got 2 paragraphs. The third one, we can just have like 3 paragraphs. And with this, we should be able to explain, or I should be able to explain what I intend to do. Now, take a look at this code again. At the head section, we have the style, which is the internal method of adding CSS. We are styling the paragraph, and we have stated that the color for the paragraph should be brown. That is the color for the text. Now, what has happened is you would notice this first paragraph here is blue in color based on this style. Now, this style is inline. Let us quickly see what this will look like on the browser. Now, on the browser, you would notice that the first paragraph is still blue in color. The other paragraphs, that's the other 3 paragraphs, they are brown in color. So what is happening here is the inline style sheet takes precedence. So it takes precedence over the internal style sheet, whereas the other paragraphs that do not have the inline style sheet will then be brown, because we have declared that all paragraphs should be brown. Now I will remove this just to further buttress the fact that now the inline style is off, and all paragraphs, including the first one, should be brown. So we are able to see that inline style sheet, inline CSS rather, takes precedence to the internal style sheet. Same thing can be done to the H1 element. All we need to do is we have the selector. So outside that parenthesis, the curly brace, we are going to have H1, and then we have the curly brace. That's the declaration block. And within the declaration block, we can give it a background color, and we can say it should be yellow. So that is using the color value. I'll just take yellow green here. So we have stated that the H1 should be yellow green, and this is the background color property that we are styling here. So remember, we have just one H1 element here, and its color should be red. At the browser now, we're going to find that that will be exactly what we see on the screen. Here is the background color applied to the H1 element, and that color was applied via internal CSS within the head section. And this is the text color, which is red, and we applied this with the inline CSS. Okay, So the last method on this video is the external CSS. The external CSS, we are going to be creating a CSS style sheet, a CSS sheet. And with that, we need to create a link that sheet within the head section. Let's go ahead to create that. So we go to the Explorer here, and we can simply, with the first icon, create a new file and call this style.css. So because we are creating a CSS style sheet, so its extension is going to be .css, and I need to correct that, just delete one of that. Okay, so this is the style, and then we can now style the index page. So, but if we add a style here, it's not going to it's not going to be seen on this page because we have not linked the page. So I'm going to create the link, just include the word link there, and I'll leave it at that for now, just to show you that we actually need to link the style sheet to this page. Now, just type in this link. We have not linked the style sheet yet. We need to link the style sheet within the href. That is where we're going to apply the link. So with this video, we will be practicing how we get to link pages. So let's go ahead to set a color for the page. And so I'm going to say body. This is going to apply a style to the body. And I'm going to give it a background color of, let's say, purple. This is just picking any random color at this point. And you can see the hexadecimal value for purple. Let's use that. So which is 800080. And so I'm going to type here the hashtag, and we're going to say 800080. Okay, so that's purple color right there. Now, when we go to the browser, let us see if this is going to be on the page. So this is currently not colored purple. The page is still white. Now we will go back to link this page, as we said before, that we need to link the style sheet to whatever page we are styling. So if we check the Explorer, we need to know where the style sheet is located. And when you watch this, we can easily gain access to the style sheet directly from the index page. So this is index, and we are going to just simply get to the style sheet that way. And so that's what we're going to do. Just going to link it right away. Let's close the Explorer, and then we go here and say style. So from the index sheet, we are going straight to the style.css. And so our text editor understands that we want to get to the style sheet from the index page. Let's check the browser, and we find that the page is purple. Now we find that this is not looking good with the color for the text. So we are still going to try to we're going to change the color of the paragraph. Let's make it white, and let's see. So at the style sheet, I am going to now make the each paragraph to be white in color. So I'm going to set their color to be white, and that is going to be, let's use the hexadecimal value, and we're going to say FFF. Okay, and so you will expect that the paragraph should be white, and let's see if that happens. So that gives us a white color. So this is looking better. We know that the inline CSS takes precedence to every other CSS. So if I decide to change the color for H1, it is not going to be applied because we already have a color for H1. So let's change the text color, and let's say we want to make it white. So we will find out that this is not going to be white. When we go to the browser, it is not going to be white. It is still red because the inline takes precedence. And we can also check this. Let's go to the external style sheet and try to change the color. So the color for H1, let's make that to be green. So let's say green, and that should be the color, right? So we're going to put the property, which is color, and we're going to say green. Now this is not going to as well turn green because this is an external style sheet, and we know inline must be seen first on the browser, and when we take the inline off, then the internal style sheet will be seen. And then if there is no internal style sheet, then the external style sheet will be seen on the browser. So at this point, we know that the H1 is not white because this style is there, the inline style. So I'm going to delete that. So once I delete that, we're going to check the browser for the color. And here we see it is white. Now this is white because we have an internal CSS. Now remember, we still have the same style applied to the H1. The text color, we have a green color here. We now are gonna remove, we're gonna take off the internal property there, and then that should give the H1 a green color because we have that same property styled within the style sheet. Let's check the browser now, and we're going to find that this is green color. Okay, thank you very much for being on this channel, and thank you very much for being with me up to this point. Please consider subscribing to the channel, like the video, and turn on the notification bell. Like, click on the notification bell, personalize the notification so that you can get notified each time we upload awesome content on this channel. And as I always say, cheers to your success. See you in the next video. Goodbye.